All right, it's time for the front pages of the front pages of the papers this morning on a Tuesday morning. And our first stop definitely takes us to Nigeria once again. And we're starting with the Daily Trust. That's our first paper this morning. And if you can see the Daily Trust, definitely then you know it is time.
Right, the Daily Trust it is. How unruly fans mad Canopila's homecoming. Well, that's in the world of sport this morning. You can get that from page 3 of the Daily Trust. ISWAP fighters attack security checkpoints, kill 2 in Maiduguri. It is a sad story this morning, but you can get that also from the Daily Trust. Now, it says here, Section 84, subsection 12, 53 commissioners, others resign in states as Buhari's minister stay put. As Buhari's ministers. Yeah, so there are more than one now. We're looking at stay put. Ngige declares for presidency today. Whoa, I mean, this is getting really heated right now. But you can get more details of this from page 5 of the Daily Trust, where it talks about 53 commissioners. Others resign in states as Buhari's ministers stay put. You can also see this picture here. These are people who are, some of them are breaking their fast. Yes, we understand it's also the fasting period for our Muslim brothers and sisters this morning. But this is showing us the way different people are doing it according to their tradition in different regions of Africa. Also, you have the story that we are bringing to you this morning. Police probe alleged rape of 10-year-old Lagos Christian school pupil, I beg your pardon. Police probe alleged rape of 10-year-old Lagos Christian school pupil. That's on page 16 from the Daily Trust.
All right, let's leave the Daily Trust now. Let's go to another daily, but this time we're talking about the Daily News. The Daily News is this paper in Zimbabwe. Well, the top story there says Highlanders lift Uhuru Cup, page 16. Of course, in sports, you find that story there. Still on Dangaremba to stand trial. What's that story all about? Well, go pick it up and read. Let's take the big one, the bold, the large, and of course, the one that explains what it's all about. Zim will blossom with unity, peace. Zim will blossom with unity, peace. Of course, ED says, as main Uhuru festivities are held in Bio. Well, you're talking about Nagangwa right there. It's talking about festivities as well being held. But let's give you a little snippet on that. President Emerson Nagangwa pictured says national unity, peace and harmony remain key catalysts for the country's economic development. And that is what he's preaching now. Julius Malema mourns Nyafi. That's another story you find on page 2. And that does it for the front page of Daily News. Quite precise, short and straight to the point.
From the Daily News this morning, we're headed to another newspaper. We're looking at Newsday this morning. Now, Newsday leads on ED dodges dying Zim dollar. We're looking at the financial sector this morning from Newsday. Right now, as we're looking at the paper. Now, the Newsday also leads on the story from the president himself. He had dodged the question of the struggling Zimbabwean dollar in his keynote address at the 42nd Independence Day commemoration that happened in Bulawayo yesterday. Now, some people have come out to say that that wasn't the appropriate place and time for him to address such issue as they were celebrating the fact that they had gained independence for 42 years, and they've also come out of the COVID-19 recession, quote unquote. But that's another story that you can get, and that's a major story coming out of Zimbabwe from the Newsday this morning. In entertainment, Joe Boy fails to live up to his billing. That's on page 14. I mean, Joe here is literally giggling at the story, like literally, Joe. Pray tell. What's going on?
Yeah, I think so. It had to do with his concerts as well. They were expecting more, in particular in Zimbabwe. They were expecting that Joe was going to come and dazzle them and give them amazing performances and all that. But what people need to really understand sometimes in life is you do have recording artists, you have performing artists. Right. They are two different type things of artists in music. I mean, I'm talking based on a little experience, having worked with a few personalities in life. Performing artists are artists who definitely can give you what you hear. Exactly. Now, they are trained that way. They are talented that way. Now, they are indeed recording artists who just record. They find it hard to actually give you that exact performance on stage. So I guess maybe when you're listening to a Joe Boy song, you're expecting to get all that look and feel. But then again, It's what it is, if I
It
put
is
it that
what
way.
it
It is what it is, and that's exactly what they got.
And that's what you can get from Newsday in Zimbabwe this morning.
All right, that's all you can get from Newsday Zimbabwe, but we're not done. We have a brand new paper definitely making an entry into the front pages here on Breakfast Central. It's called the Abuja Inquirer. Yeah, the pulse of the city. I'm starting to like the fact that each state is having its own paper. That makes it more very unique, if you put it that way. FCT minister throws weight behind autism awareness. Parents decry poor diagnostic centers. This story is indeed one that we should definitely look at. FCT minister throws weight behind autism awareness. Parents decry poor diagnostic centers. Well, that's from the Abuja Inquirer, the pulse of the city. That's not all. Let's take a look at the front page there, the bigger one. School feeding, the header. Yes, school feeding. FCT bill climbs to 12.5 million naira daily, Oluchi.
Per day. Per day, 12.5 million is spent on feeding school children.
Yes, I remember that we came up from we came out recently where a few people also made videos and said, look at what our children are being fed with. Watery beans and half egg, or a slice of bread, boiled egg, half, and so on and so forth. And then you start to wonder what is really going on.
How effective has it even been since inception?
That's it.
I mean, we need to have people who measure to see the cause and effects. I mean, when you look at the cause, what's the effect, and how well grounded does it help? Now we understand that children were not going to school because a lot of them were really hungry and they went on the streets. Now the goal of this particular project was to ensure that children go back to school. But we did get reports that children only came to school close to the time they were given this food, and once they're given this food, they're out of school. So now that brings us to the effectivity of this project. How effective has it been? Has it given the children what they need? Have they been able to learn? Have they been able to pass the examination? I think the examination results would have been a true test of how effective this project has been so far. So good.
It really needs an inquiry, as the paper says. The Inquirer there, the front page there. School feeding FCT bill climbs to 12.5 million naira, beg your pardon, daily. Well, let's look at just a few more stories very quickly. FCT minister orders for radical revenue drive. FCT minister orders for radical revenue drive, page 5. You also have another one, 55% of Benue youth hooked on substance abuse. Psychiatrist says, page 12, 55% of Benue youth. Why focus on a particular tribe or a particular, I'd say demography of people or persons? Well, you would find that story very, very intriguing once you read it. I was able to go through a little sometime. That was yesterday, and I saw a bit of it. And this morning, you have the full detail of that story as well. I think I'll stop here on the front page of the Inquirer.
Wow, the Inquirer is quite a handful this morning. Now, let's move on to The Nation. This morning, we're still looking at papers in West Africa, Nigeria. The Nation, where it reads, outrage over pupils' gang sex in Dubai. It says, police launch probe, school shot. That's what it says. That's on page 2 from The Nation this morning. Now, also looking at the Paris Club debt is back again on the front page. It says, don't deduct $418 million Paris Club debt from our allocation. State caution federal government. You can get that also on page 4 from The Nation. Wike seeks dissolution of EFCC. ICPC Joe over pardon for Dari and Inyame. This is not the end of the story. We know that, no doubt. That's on page 5 from The Nation. Senators, reps to court. Sustain Electoral Act 84, subsection 12. Lawmakers file grounds of appeal. It seems they're asking for accelerated hearing. That's what we can get here from The Nation. And one more story from The Nation. Why economic recovery is slow, and this is coming from the World Bank. More on that from The Nation this morning.